Welcome back to GT1's, and Aussie David Brabham has finished among the points in the penultimate round of the championship in Beijing. In slippery conditions, there were plenty of spills. Bertrand Baguette coming off while leading the qualifying race, which was eventually won by Thomas Enge and Alex Muller. Andrea Piccini had to be towed out of the gravel after losing it while leading the main race, which finished under a yellow flag with Aston Martin going 1-2.
And it's victory for Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker.
Look at the joy in the young driver Aston Martin.
Great race. Probably the most difficult of the year. Really difficult conditions, and at one point we're leading, at one point we're second, and I'm just really grateful when the hexes went off.
Lucas Lohr and Michael Krum finished third to take a strong grip on the championship, while Brabham and teammate Jamie Campbell-Walter finished 11th in the qualifying race and 8th in the main event. And with the first of the endurance races in the V8 Supercar Championship looming this weekend, the man himself, David Brabham, is here in Australia to co-drive with Irwin Tools Racing's Alex Davison for the second consecutive year. Now, the action begins at Phillip Island on Saturday, and he joins us now from our Melbourne studios. David, great to have you on the show. How does it feel to be back in Australia?
Yeah, thanks, Jess. It's really good. I always enjoy coming back home. Obviously, I live abroad, have done for a long time, but any opportunity I get to come down here and race is fantastic. And it's obviously, again, with Irwin Tools and Alex Davison and Stone Brothers Racing, to be able to come down here and race for those guys again is pretty special.
Now, you've only just arrived off a plane from China. It looked like you guys had an absolutely treacherous weekend over there. You must have been pleased just to finish in one piece.
Well, I think as you've seen by the footage, a lot of cars went off, and it was so easy to do so because the tyres, for some reason, they've either got a bit of grip or they don't. And in the final race, we had a car that we just had no grip, and it was so easy to make a mistake. So finishing 8th, we were kind of happy with that, actually. Yeah,
it looked like a really challenging weekend for everybody. Now, you've had 3 podiums this year in your Nissan GTR. How have you rated your season?
Obviously, the last few years where I've won championships coming into this year, it was a brand new team. There was a lot of problems that we needed to solve. The season's got better and better as it's come along, and, you know, sort of halfway through the season we had some stability and we're starting to pick up the odd podium here and there. And, you know, I think overall I can't be too disappointed purely because of the circumstances. And, you know, we get to race on some great tracks. The racing's very close, and it's, you know, kept me sharp, ready for Phillip Island, to be honest.
Well, speaking of great tracks, you've got one race to go, which is in Argentina, and the circuit is actually situated in the rim of an extinct volcano. What's it like to race there?
I've got no idea. I've never been. In fact, there's 7 racetracks I'm going to this year I've never been to before, so it's a fantastic new experience. Beijing was new, Ordos, but the week before was new. So yeah, going into the last round of the World Championship is another new track to learn. So very exciting to go to Argentina and race there, though.
It must certainly keep you on your toes.
Definitely. You know, it's a very competitive championship, and, you know, the other day we were looking good for a 3rd and we ended up 7th with a problem in the pit stop, and if we'd finished 3rd we would have moved from sort of like 8th to 4th in the championship. It's that close.
Well, there's talk we could see the GT1s come to Australia next year. Which track would you like to race at?
Bathurst.
Without a doubt. Didn't take you long to answer that one.
No, I mean, obviously, if not, Phillip Island is a great track. You know, I don't really care, to be honest. I mean, as long as if we can get down here, if I'm involved in the championship next year, would be awesome. Do
you think the GTRs have a bit of a disadvantage over the Aston Martins, Corvettes, Lamborghinis?
You know what? It really depends on the track we go to. Some of the tracks suit the Nissan, some of them suit the Aston or the Lamborghini. The Ford GT40 was very fast in Beijing, as well as the Aston Martin. We knew it was a track more difficult for us, and you know, obviously the car that's aiming to win the championship with the Krum Lucas Lohr car, they managed to pick up a 3rd and get themselves in a very strong position. The sort of race before the championship race, I had to let Krum go because obviously we're trying to help him win the championship.
Yes, as you say, you are out here to pair up with Alex Davison again for the Enduros. The first, of course, which is Phillip Island this weekend. Now, what sort of preparations will you guys do for the rest of the week?
Well, I only arrived yesterday. Normally what would happen, I'd come down and do a test, hang around for a week and then come down for the race. But because I was in China, I missed out on the test. So my preparation, I suppose, is not as good as last year, although I've got a lot of memories from what I did a year ago. And I feel pretty confident of jumping in the car and getting going. We go to the track tomorrow. We'll be doing seat fitting and stuff. And I sat in the car today actually at a promo with Irwin Tools, and we've got the same seat as what I had last year. And I sat in it and I said, "Yeah, perfect. That feels good." So we're pretty much ready to go.
Excellent, good to hear. And of course, following Phillip Island is the big one everyone looks forward to, the Bathurst 1000. Who do you see as the team to beat this year?
You know, Aussie V8s is a super competitive championship, and you know, you look at one weekend, you've got one group up the front, and the next weekend they're down the back and another group's up front. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the endurance. Particularly this race, I think will give us a good idea of what happens at Bathurst. But it's anyone's game, to be honest, and that's the beauty of this series. You know, you just never know.
From your point of view, do you look at Phillip Island as a bit of a warm-up for Bathurst?
Yeah, I think for all the teams it's a warm-up for Bathurst, but it's still a race. It's still, everyone takes it seriously. It's obviously for the sort of second drivers coming in, they're all contributing to the points for the championship. So you know, there's a lot of responsibility to come here and do a good job.
Well, you guys finished 13th last year at Bathurst. What do you think it'll take to improve on that result this year?
Oh, I think if you've seen the way Stone Brothers have gone from last year to this year, they've certainly made a step forward. They're more competitive. They've got a couple of guys in the top 10 of the championship, and you know, I think the mood within the team, by the sounds of it, is a lot better, a lot stronger than it was last year. So I'd see that we're going to have a very competitive two races at Phillip Island and Bathurst.
Do you have to change your driving style for these events compared to GT1?
Yeah, definitely. The cars are different to drive. The biggest thing is the braking. That's the one thing I've got to change, because in our type of racing we have carbon brakes. They run a lot higher temperature and they brake a lot easier, so the brake pressure is not as much. With the steel brakes and the V8 and the heaviness of the car, you've really got to hit the pedal a lot harder. So that's the main thing I'll be working on through practice. But everything else will be pretty similar from what I've been used to this year, which is good.
David, you've raced so many different cars over the span of your career. What would you say is the best race car you've ever driven? I
do get asked that question a lot, and I've been very fortunate to drive some amazing cars. And the one that probably sticks out more than anything is back in 1991, I drove for Jaguar in the World Sports Car Championship, and that was the XJR 14, and that was just an unbelievable car, and at the time we would have been qualifying in the top 10 of any Formula One race with that car, and I think that's the one that probably stands out more than anything.
Very nice indeed. Well, David, it has been fantastic to catch up with you, and we wish you all the best for your time here in Australia.
Yeah, thanks Jess, thanks for having me on.
All right, ahead on Speed News Australia, the championship decided in the AMA Motocross, and Jason Crump just misses out on a win in Denmark. Plus, we take a look at what's happening this weekend in motorsport. Stay with us.
As a